Okie dokie.
We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
The incremental.
Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
Stop whining. Oh, I'm gonna die!
Oh, yeah. You're gonna cry? You're gonna cry, kitty baby? Oh, you're gonna fucking cry? Look at him, he's crying. It's gonna be mental. It's going to be mental.
Sweat Equity Podcast with just...
Eric!
But also...
Some people call me Cool Eric.
I recognize that I have said that I was going to keep this up, and I'm doing my best. And I just keep seeing new alien shit come out all the time, and it's overwhelming because, I mean, to try and keep updated on these things, it's like, well, the last thing I heard, I shouldn't even share that. That seemed wrong. So I'm trying to keep up with that on top of this newfound anxiety. Not new, but I guess a recognition of it. Had a fun little thing that happened where I've been talking about doing stand-up for months and months. And I was like, once school's over, I'll get it going in the summertime. And signed up. I paid $5 to get on the list, all this stuff. Law came over to, we were going to roll down there together. And I basically had a panic attack. I mean, I was paralyzed to leave my house. I couldn't do it. And that has never happened to me before. The one time I had a panic attack was when I went skydiving, and never again. It was, trust me, that I don't need to do that again. But this panic attack was a little bit different. It was like a paralyzing one. So that made me kind of realize, I guess I'll go to therapy, even though I don't want to. Stupid therapy, talk about my feelings and stuff. So that's been going on. The reason behind all of it really, my relationship with one Jasenia Rojas of Al Dente Tastings, I'm going to say her name, so Google indexes it, really messed me up. Messed me up worse than a divorce. Like, I didn't go to therapy after my divorce. It's become apparent that I should share my side because the side that's out is not real at all. And, I haven't said anything about it because the bare bones truth of what happened is unbelievable. The fear and pain I went through with that person, like anxiety, like right now, my heart is beating through my chest just talking about it. Like, I've done over 400 episodes on a podcast. I don't really get nervous anymore, but to get behind this microphone now, oh my God. Whew. Oh, that's legit, man. The person that she presents to the world is not that person that I dealt with. Okay. Like I said, fear was instilled always. There was a lot of screaming and fighting and anger. And, it took over my life easily. It jeopardized my life. My income, all these things, and breaking up with her was my choice, but given the circumstances, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. When she would get upset, she would get as bad as you could imagine, one person being, in terms of anger and yelling and violence. The day I broke up with her, we had been fighting the day before. And I woke up the next day. I was like, please, God, let that one go to bed. Please no more. Nope. There was no end in sight ever to the fighting over nothing. I had said, I don't want to be with you anymore. She then punched me in the face, which made me get up to try and walk to my bedroom and close the door. She busted the door down, starts trying to fight with me physically. And which is not the first time. It happened a lot. That's not me crying. That's just me. It's like just having something in my throat. I swear to God. Hold on. She was fighting with me and then proceeded to text her mom, call the police. Eric is beating me. After many times of her being upset and threatening to have my children taken away from me. So that morning, she texted her mother that, showed me the text, and immediately I was put into a situation that I hope none of you ever have to be put in, because I was forced to choose between my children and this person, because I can't assume that her mom's. That's another thing. Is that a game that they're playing? Are you guys playing a game? I can't assume it's a game. So I had to proceed to call the police myself. She was arrested for assault, which I never wanted to happen. And it wasn't this rash decision on my part. This was, literally the 10th time that I thought that was going to happen, that it would end with the police. It was that bad. I mean, the things I'm saying, I can bring witnesses. Start with my neighbors could hear it. Unfortunately, my kids, they weren't direct recipients of it, but they saw it, She was arrested. The next day, I'm so smart, and I go down there to the courthouse. I go in front of a judge to try and get things taken away. I still to this day don't know what happened with that. It doesn't really matter. And I even was so stupid as to go back with the ring that I had and say, hey, can we just call it even and start over? And the response was, what kind of man calls the police on a woman? Were you really that scared? The man that loves his children has to do that because of what I have to take as the truth when you speak. This person values the truth so much, but, Italy is apparently her life. She introduces herself. I'm Cuban Italian. Fun fact, she has no Italian blood. None. Speaks Italian, lived in Italy, not Italian. Comfortable going around living that lie. So consider the source when you hear things about me, please. Second hardest thing I had to do was tell my kids that, she was gone. She wasn't coming back. Because, man, that's strike two for daddy. When did they start saying, is dad the problem? It's been crazy, man. I do not feel like I need to carry this around with me anymore. This fucking guilt, this uneasiness, this questioning of myself, because I did everything any human could ever do. to try and make that person happy. And it was not going to happen. And I understand. I know what has happened with her in her life, and I understand her actions. I understand it, but it's not okay. It's not okay to not take responsibility for it. One good thing I will say that came out of all of that, because I had to find something, because that person is perfectly fine, never having anything to do with me and my situation ever again. Just peace out. You called the cops on me. How dare you? Okay. Well, it's really like, man, like after breaking up, like I would tell people the real things that would happen, and the people had a hard time believing me because she's that good at disguising her anger. But I bet if you ask her, "Are you actually Italian?" I bet you probably break her brain. It might come out, but who knows? Anyways, one good thing. In retrospect, I look back, and it was as if the universe took everything that I was like bitching and moaning about in my marriage and just flipped it around on me. It was like, oh yeah, you let's make that times 100. And I am not exaggerating. Times 100. And like, so through all of this, it has caused me, like allowed me to sort of in my own heart forgive Nikki, my ex-wife. Not for her, like I don't think she really gives a shit, but like it's allowed me to not carry that around because she's at least on a normal human level at some point. She didn't destroy who I was. Jacinia would say, I'm not, she would be like, you're not funny and you're a loser. Over under on how many times she called me a loser. If you held a gun to my head and said over under 1,000, bro, I'd be so nervous. It might be over 1,000. I mean, so positive. Let's think positive. Okay? It's helped that situation, co-parenting. It's made me want to do things to improve that relationship. Just because it's like what I went through is so dark and gross, and then afterwards having to deal with lies about me, like, dude, like I said, I can bring receipts. Google it. It sucks. Taylor Swift said, look what you made me do. Totally kills my enthusiasm to talk aliens. But I'm going to give you a quick rundown because all kinds of shit went down. And you should know about it. I'm going to show you real quick. Dr. Stephen Greer, this guy, you've probably seen him around. He released a huge file dump of everything UFO, UAP, weirdness related. I got the website up right there, dpiarchive.com, and they make you sign up. But yeah, they had active sabotage on that website where there was like people trying to mess it up, and the disinformation shit is crazy right now. But yeah, check that out. Like, it's fun to go through all kinds of crazy stuff. The thing about Marilyn Monroe, if you've never heard of that, there's speculation Marilyn Monroe was killed because JFK shared some alien something idea or whatever, and she had scheduled a press conference, was going to bust it wide open. Maybe not. So yeah, there's cool stuff on there. And then we had these guys come out. Retired Colonel Carl E. Nell He was doing a talk at a conference, pretty much said, without a doubt, 100%, there's stuff going on. Only to be followed up by Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who's been doing the podcast circuit. So you can probably find him pretty easily. Who, if I'm looking at him, like, kind of has like a alien vibe to him. Very gangly, tall, skinny guy. But yeah, these guys are coming out and like it's only happening more. The whistleblowers, they're coming out. Plus, we had Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan. Dude, people have been talking mad shit, but there was some stuff on there that I was like, whoa. The coolest thing I thought, which was something I had never heard of that kind of blew my mind. He had a theory about planet formation, right? And the sun ejecting matter, and this idea that like over billions of years the sun ejects these planets, and then they slowly drift away from the sun, enter the Goldilocks zone, exit the Goldilocks zone, and then that's when life happens in the Goldilocks zone. The planet moves out, things die off, and the next planet coming in. That's kind of cool. Like, we really don't know. That could be the case. The shit where you made Saturn with no gravity. I mean, it sucks. There's a lot of things that people picked apart that, like, I saw a thing that was like, he's full of shit. And nobody really, like, discredits the actual science behind some of the stuff. You know, they'll discredit his, credentials or some shit. But, like, when he was on Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, he was showing a thing of a computer model making Saturn without gravity with some other scientist. It wasn't him typing things into the computer. This was like a legit scientist doing it. The point being, let's not dismiss everything all the time. You know? Let's look at it all because, oh man, like just in the last bit since I've last done this, the amount of new shit, new theories that have come out, and not even theories, like, I heard of a guy named Michael Herrera who was a military photographer who claims to have come across a spacecraft, but it was occupied by humans who were loading, unloading things. Basically, first time he came out, he thought it was all this shady shit. He thought it was human trafficking. He thought it was whatever. But since then, he's come out, and then the people that he came across operating these UFO craft, who are basically outside the government, they're like the most powerful people in the world if they belong to these organizations and have this tech. Those people reached out to him because they wanted to clear the air on what it is they're doing, their motives, and all this other stuff. So since then, this Michael Herrera guy claims to have visited a site with human-occupied, owned UFOs, and is going to slowly figure out a way to introduce and, dole this information out about what's going on there. I mean, that shit's crazy if you think about it. If there's these groups of humans, because another part of what he said is that these groups that have these UFO tech also shoot down UFOs 2 to 3 times a year. The human trafficking that he thought he saw is actually taking people from like third world countries who don't have a lot, but they have like special psychic powers. They take them, they provide them with housing, food, they give them a life in exchange for their psychic abilities to summon the UFOs so they could shoot them down out of the air. It's like, God damn it, humans. Jesus, we're shooting them, killing them. Like, that's murder. They're aliens, but it's murder. They're obviously just as smart as we are, if not worse. So, like, now we've got a human element in play, right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, that as a cinematic universe or like a TV series would be so badass. And I'm just going to give it away. So whoever wants to make it. But think about all these different groups of small groups of people who have recovered UFOs over the years in different parts of the world, reverse engineered them in their own way to sort of create their own UFO cousin tech that might not work as good as theirs or whatever. But like, think about a world where you've got all these different factions who have their own UFO tech and they're secretly battling each other for whatever, like that could be real. But it would be awesome if somebody made it into a movie or a series. Just my opinion. But yeah, the point being, there's so much shit going on and so much information being thrown out there, which they're doing on purpose, Ask yourself, what do these guys have to gain? What do they have to lose? The people talking, what are their credentials? Can it be backed up? Something's going down. Again, let's pretend like it's all going to end. Because, it is in a way, but let's get our shit together. Let's have some confidence. I'm talking to myself right now. Let's stop carrying around negativity. Let's do better. We can do better. I feel better. What a relief. You wouldn't believe how nervous I was. I'm alone in my house. Just me and the camera. Anyways, I'm going to the beach. I don't know if I'm going to be on the next episode because I don't know if Law understands that I'm going to be gone. And then he's going to do the pod by himself. But it happens. I love you all. Goodbye.